And it's episode number 33 of the Top 5 Scope. And this guy next to me, or over here, wherever it is he is my friend Jay Baer, New York Times bestselling author of the book Utility, and soon to be second-time New York Times bestseller with this new book that's coming out called Hug Your Haters. How's it going, Jay?
Fantastic, Joel. Thanks very much for having me.
I'm glad that you are ready to be had, because episode 33 is going to be pulled directly from the content of the soon-to-be best-selling book about why hugging your haters makes business sense. And so today we give you the top 5 reasons that you should hug your haters. Let's jump right in. Reason number 1.
Reason number 1 why you should hug your haters and embrace complaints is that it allows you to turn bad news into good news. Look, if you don't answer somebody's complaint, you literally have no opportunity to turn lemons into lemonade. As Dave Kirpin says, a lack of response is a response. It's a response that says, I don't care about you very much.
And so it's always a better idea to say something than nothing.
If you don't say anything, it's like when you sell a stock that's already dropped, you sort of lock in your losses at that point. If you answer, and even if you don't answer it well, at least you have a fighting chance to save that customer.
How does this fit in with the old axiom we used to hear, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing?
Well, there are certainly stories and tales of companies out there answering in a way that probably made a situation worse. I've got a great one in the book where this lady, God, I feel so bad for her. She lived up in Canada Australia. She's in Melbourne, Australia. That's right. Melbourne, Australia. And she got some roses for her wedding, and the florist screwed it all up. And she waited for a year until her 1-year anniversary, and it had been bothering her every day for a year. And she sent them this long, heartfelt, tear-inducing email about how, it was really disappointed her and she felt so bad. And could you please just give me a decent bouquet of roses on my 1-year anniversary? And they did reply. And their reply was, don't ever contact us again. That was all they said.
Me.
And so then it went viral, and she put it on Instagram, and the whole thing just got really bad. It got really, really bad. So
wow.
You are correct. Sometimes people answer, and they probably would have been better off to not say anything, but that is very much the exception.
That's horrible. So number 1, why hugging your haters makes business sense is you can turn bad news good. Number 2.
Number 2 is that if you hug your haters, it actually increases customer advocacy. I did a tremendous amount of very comprehensive research for this book and talked to thousands of Americans about who complains and where they complain and why they complain and how. And what we found in the research is that when you answer a complaint, it actually increases customer advocacy. So they feel this way about you, and when you answer their complaint, they feel this way about you. And that is true in every channel, in every circumstance, and in every case. Now, the amount of that lift, the amount of that customer advocacy lift depends on their expectations. So if they expect you to answer their complaint, then the bump is not very high. For example, Joel, if you call a company and you leave them a voicemail, you anticipate that company to call you back, right?
I do, yes.
And similarly with email, if you email a company, you anticipate that they will call you back.
No.
And so the data shows approximately 90% of the time, if people call or email, they anticipate a response. It's just like the social contract at this point, right? We just do that. So if a company does actually email you back or does call you back, it's going to give you a small bump in customer advocacy, not a huge bump because you expect it. However, if you complain in social media, on review sites, whether it's G2 Crowd or Yelp or any of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other ratings and review sites that are out there for everything from plastic surgery to finding an apartment, or if you complain on a discussion board or forum, you don't always expect or anticipate a response. So if you do get one from a company, it increases your customer advocacy as much as 30%. 30%. And the people who had a problem that you solved are twice as loyal as the people who never had a problem at all.
Good data, great point. Okay, number 3.
Number 3 is that customer service now is a spectator sport. Increasingly, people are complaining in public on digital channels. And in those places, the spectators, the people who are looking on, the people who are going to see that tweet or that Facebook comment or that Yelp review or any other form or fashion of that kind of interaction, those people very much outnumber the original complainant. So, of course, you want to hug your hater, you want to make the original customer happy, but perhaps more importantly, from a revenue standpoint, is what your response says about your company and its values. Are you actually listening? Are you paying attention? You've probably heard the adage, Joel, that the measure of a man is not when things are going well, but when things are going poorly. And this is very much the business version of that axiom.
You know, it used to be if we had a problem with a company, we'd call them, and if we weren't satisfied, we'd go and tell some friends. Now we post on Twitter or Facebook, and we tell 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, maybe even 1 million people if we're that influential.
Absolutely. And
that's when it can go really bad.
Companies just are not, generally speaking, prepared for that world. Some are, of course. There are examples of companies that are great at it, but they are very much in the minority.
Excellent. All right, what's the number 4 reason that we should hug our haters?
When you do that, when you interact with customers who are unhappy, you have an opportunity to glean insights and intelligence to make your organization better. See, the most important customers you have are the haters. The most important customers you have are the haters. Here's why. 95% of the people who don't like your company never complain in a form or a fashion that the company will ever find. They may tell their friends, over beers, those guys suck or whatever, but they never do anything that you can find. They just disappear.
Secret haters.
Their money is gone. So what the haters really are, they're using their time to tell you what's wrong with your business. The haters then are the unelected representatives of the much larger and more dangerous group, which is the meh in the middle. Those people who don't really like you, but don't care enough about you to tell you about it. So those haters are the early warning detection system for your business. And if you pay attention to what they're telling you, you can see all these patterns that you can then fix to eliminate complaints from the next group of customers.
And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to pay attention to them, right?
It doesn't. It just requires effort, right? And in some kind of system and a corporate culture that rewards complaints. In many cases, companies legitimately have a success metric that says, we want to try and reduce complaints. That makes sense. You know what's the fastest way to reduce complaints, Joel? Stop listening for them. If your goal internally is to reduce complaints, I can do that in 5 seconds. I don't know. I didn't get that email, right?
I'm not listening.
I mean, there's a great case study in the book from Erin Pepper, and she's the director of customer experience at Le Pain Quotidien, which is a chain of bakeries based in Belgium, but many locations in the U.S. And she's been there, a year or so, 18 months. And she said, my goal in the first year was to triple the number of complaints. Think about that. Her goal as the director of customer experience was to triple the number of complaints. That flies in the face of everything you would expect. Yet when you start to kind of drill down into that, it's brilliant, right? We want as much negative feedback as we can get, because when we get it, we can do something about it.
Right. Love it. Okay, and the number 5 in the top 5 reasons to hug your haters. What you got?
As we talked about a moment ago, there's not very many companies that are good at this. In fact, research from Forrester shows that 80% of companies say that they deliver superior customer service. 8% of their customers agree. So
there's a huge disparity there.
We have a problem here. We're not as good at customer service as we think we are. And actually, just as an aside, it's one of the challenges I think I'm going to have with selling this book. Right? This is a book, it's the first ever modern book about customer service. It really is. There's lots of books about customer service, but this one is current as of today, right? We're talking about WeChat in here and WhatsApp and a bunch of other things, right? So the problem, though, is, Joel, everybody thinks they're good at customer service. Why do I need to read Jay's book about customer service? I deliver great customer service. No, you probably don't. Your customers certainly probably don't think so. So the opportunity here, though, is enormous for companies of all sizes and all shapes and all types all around the world, because so few actually do deliver on great customer service and great customer experience, that if you can make the changes necessary, and it's laid out very specifically in the book, if you can make the changes necessary to actually hug your haters, it will differentiate you from your competition. It will be an advantage. Customer service is the new marketing.
I love that. I hope you're going to photo quote the crud out of that and put that on
Yes, we are.
and post that.
Yes, we are.
The top 5 reasons why hugging your haters makes sense. You can turn bad news good. It creates customer advocacy for you because customer service is a spectator sport, because you can get insights and intel, and because it differentiates you from your competition. Good stuff, Jay Baer.
Thank
The
you, sir.
book. Hug Your Haters. Go to hugyourhaters.com to pre-order. And if you happen to see the video after the book is out, you can still go to hugyourhaters.com. And Jay will personally, digitally hug you, won't you, Jay?
I will do more than that.
He'll send you
Unspecified acts of love.
Can we see the socks?
Yeah, so if you buy, I think it's 3 copies, I have the spreadsheet in front of me. If you buy multiple copies of the book in advance, you get exclusive I Love Haters socks. How sweet are those, right? That is awesome.
Those are awesome. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Top 5 Scope. Episode 33, we're wrapping it up with Jay Baer, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode, whenever it is that I do it, down Periscope.